Your Excellencies, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Her Majesty's Government, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you here in London for the third Clean Energy Ministerial. Now, in its short history, some of the biggest names in clean energy have hosted the Ministerial. Of course, the United States, leading the G20 with nearly $50 billion of clean energy investment last year. And then Abu Dhabi, home of the world's first zero-carbon city. And now, in this Olympic year, the Diamond Jubilee year of our Queen, it's a very great honour to welcome you to the United Kingdom. Now, our energy history here is a story of great heights and great depths. The UK was the home to the Industrial Revolution that drove prosperity, but that also drove pollution. The steam engine may have been invented here in the UK, but so was the term acid rain. By the 1950s, air pollution became so bad here that London's infamous smog reduced daytime visibility to less than a metre. Concerts were cancelled because no one could see the stage. So we passed the Clean Air Act, one of the world's first pieces of environmental legislation. 60 years later, we're proud to be at the leading edge of the clean energy revolution. We have carbon budgets all the way out to 2027. Through what we call the Green Deal, we are creating a new national market for energy efficiency to make our homes and businesses less wasteful. We're putting clean energy at the heart of our electricity system, reforming our market to let low-carbon sources compete on cost. And we're running a competition to launch the world's first commercial-scale carbon capture and storage plant. So my message today is a simple one. The UK stands for ambitious action on climate change. And we want to work with our partners to deliver a cleaner, safer energy future for our citizens and a vibrant green economy for our businesses. Of course, these are aims that I know you all share, so I'm really looking forward to working with you as our sessions unfold. But before I hand over to my esteemed colleague, Dr. Chu, I wanted to talk about two things that I think sit at the heart of this summit. First of all, investment, and secondly, ambition. If I can start with investment. Over the past few years, the global low-carbon sector has outshone the rest of the economy. In 2011, the trillionth dollar was invested in clean energy. Investment in renewables now outstrips investment in fossil fuels. But as the major economies face tougher fiscal conditions, I'm afraid indications show that that growth is slowing. As I'm sure we'll hear from Michael Lebreich shortly, new financial investment in the first quarter of 2012 is significantly down on the previous quarter. As stimulus funding falls away, and as fiscal tightening takes hold, new industries could suffer unless private finance makes up for the difference. And the risk is that recession delays low-carbon investment, leaving us a high-carbon legacy even when the global economy recovers. And that means that would make meaningful action on climate change even more expensive. And I'm afraid we don't start from a good place. 80% of our emissions from energy are already locked in, and the emissions gap is growing. So our challenge is to make sure investment in clean energy soars, even if the wider economy is sluggish. And governments cannot do this alone. We don't have the reach, we don't have the balance sheet. So our job, I believe, is to create the right frameworks for investment, sending clear signals to the businesses who will lead the low-carbon transition. We've got to encourage innovation, and to do that we've got to be able to bring clean technologies to market. Of course, that is what the Clean Energy Ministerial is all about. And the threat of the investment squeeze that I've talked about makes our task more urgent, not less. And that brings me to my second point, the need to be more ambitious in the way we communicate. I think we need to make the medium and long-term case for clean energy even when people are preoccupied by short-term impacts. We need to commit to our vision of a cleaner future and show people what that future will hold, the benefits that clean energy will bring for those who need it and for those who will develop it. We should state more strongly than ever the business case for going green. Efficiency policies are unashamedly good for growth, using less resources, lowering operating costs, freeing up capital. But the low carbon shift promises other rewards too. Insulation from volatile global fossil fuel prices and protection from the worst economic impacts of climate change. In some quarters, the green agenda is painted as an unbearable burden. But global growth leaders are supporting clean technologies and ambitious climate policies. Take Brazil's ambitious emissions targets, Germany's record in renewables, Korea's significant green growth commitments, Mexico's historic climate bill, Denmark's new clean energy targets. Each of the nations represented here today, and many more, are finding their own path to a cleaner future. Emerging economies and energy-rich nations alike are embracing the low carbon shift. So the Clean Energy Ministerial is about learning from those who are leading. By collaborating on clean energy projects, sharing our knowledge, we can bring sustainable light, for example, to people in developing countries. We can make our cities less wasteful, our appliances much more efficient. We can bring the brightest minds to bear on the most intractable problems. This week, we will celebrate projects that achieve these aims, and more, and they are already making a difference. In a time of scepticism and doubt, the achievements of the past 3 years, like the solar lighting initiative, enabling 500,000 off-grid lighting systems, or the clean energy solution centres already being used by 150 countries, those achievements ring out above the noise and the doubt. On which note, I fear I've probably spoken too long already, so let me offer a final thought by way of conclusion. Bringing clean energy solutions to market is vital for the low carbon shift. Without cleaner energy supplies, more efficient buildings and smarter grid connections, we simply will not succeed. But this week's meetings will not happen in isolation. They are an invaluable counterpart to all our other efforts to accelerate clean energy and slow climate change. And I think we have to think about this Clean Energy Ministerial not just this week, but throughout the year. And if we do that, I think we can achieve great things. So your presence here speaks to the commitment that your nations have shown to securing a better future for all the world's citizens. You're very welcome here. Thank you for coming. And I'm looking forward to meeting you and talking with you in our informal and formal sessions.